An officer on a motorcycle managed to get close to him, but the suspect cranking the throttle to race away. Moments later, he's seen here pulling out a gun. He seems to chamber a bullet, all without touching the handlebars. Less than a minute later, a car driven by an off-duty officer...
I'd like it known that we're about to start and you're frantically finishing your hot and spicy flavored pork rinds right now.
Dude, don't hate on me. All right, I'm done. I'm gonna fix my hat. All right.
We're ready to go and you're just still chewing. This is great.
I was gonna pop this open.
Why don't you?
Well, I'm going to, but I realized you bought grape.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's disgusting. Who buys or drinks grape anything?
Well, this is the last one of that handful that I bought, remember, a while ago that I dropped in the parking lot. So
Yeah.
is that one dented or is that a decent one?
Yeah, no, it's dented all up right here.
That's fun. Just drink it. I bet you'll actually enjoy it.
My 8-year-old son doesn't even like grape anything, but that's cool.
Grape
drink
cough
it.
syrup
That's
is
why it's
amazing.
been in the fridge forever, probably, because nobody wants
I
grape.
bet you're really going to like it.
Probably not.
I would ask to try it, but you've been sick again.
It's disgusting.
No, it's not. It has to be good.
It's
great.
gross. I'm going to drink it because I'm thirsty because I just ate those, but
What did you just eat?
I don't want to talk about it.
Your pork rinds.
Actually,
Why don't you show everyone what you just...
I did shove these down real quick, which I got out of our break room because I was hungry. I've been running around all morning and didn't get a chance to really eat.
Yeah, so that's still not food.
So, yeah.
But it's funny. I
Okay.
think you like that. Is it really not great?
It's grape. Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's not good though?
No, it tastes like cough syrup,
Oh.
like grape flavored cough syrup.
Yeah, back in the day when you were a kid.
Anyways, I was just curious why you picked grape, but that's all. It's all
I
good.
picked a bunch of them, and you're welcome.
And you dropped them all in the parking lot and then kicked them.
I did. That was terrible.
All right. So how was your weekend?
It's been busy, doing a lot of stuff, traveled some, and now I'm back. I feel like you're setting me up for something.
Nah.
Yeah, you are. You're smirking.
I swear I'm not.
I know
dude.
you well enough,
Where'd
dude.
you travel to?
I had to go to Crescent City in Northern California.
Oh, I
for a
didn't know
couple
about
days.
this. Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, I did.
Tell each other everything.
Yeah, you just don't listen.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I've been busy at work this whole last week, and
I
then
know
you
you
called me in
have.
the middle of my day, and I'm like, dude, I don't have time to sit here and chit chat with you.
I know
You're a work from home guy.
Yeah, it's hard. You know what? I'm wearing my sweatshirt. I didn't even get ready. I was gonna take it off for a t-shirt.
Yeah, why are you wearing that?
I don't know.
For the record, if I would have worn that, I would have got yelled at. I'm dropping the old school
I do appreciate
Shots
that.
Fired podcast t-shirt that I found actually in my closet today. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to rep that thing.
That may have been back when we had the studio at in your house, way years ago.
Should we, do you think it's acceptable to tell everybody now our previous studio and the shenanigans that went on there?
Have we talked about it?
No, we never did. I wanted to one time, and then you're like, no, we shouldn't say it or whatever.
I let it out. I said we let it out because that was very weird.
So after going from the bedroom, we went to the other studio in a different city, not nice part of town because it was super cheap.
Yeah, and it was actually someone actually paid for it for us.
Oh, initially, yeah, that's
so
right.
we didn't even have to
I forgot
pay.
about that.
Yeah, so they actually paid for our studio, so that was pretty cool. That's why we picked that place.
You're right. I did forget about that part. So,
Yeah.
but then we ended up having to take over the lease, which it was still super cheap.
Yeah.
It was like $350 or something ridiculous. But with that comes, you get what you pay for in a shitty city that we were in.
Yeah.
And yeah, we didn't know, but apparently there was some Russian hookers that worked out of there.
Well, they worked in a massage parlor.
Oh, you're right. It was a massage parlor, and they were had extra curricular activities going on. So that was always interesting showing up there, and there would be like one or two of them in some super skimpy outfit.
Yeah.
Waiting by the front door for a client.
And this is not during business hours because we would do this in the evenings or on the weekends.
Well, what was funny, do you remember there was that like a weird back door down by the underground parking area? Mm-hmm. And there would be normal looking middle-aged men that you wouldn't suspect to be doing something like that showing up at that place, and they would go let them in at that back door. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was rather like disgusting, and there was times when I would see that and be like, you probably have a family and you're parking here
100%.
and you're like trying as fast as you can not to be seen to get in this little discreet little door. Just the weirdest thing.
It was funny though, when we would invite guests, we would say, Listen, just ignore the hooker that you're about to.
Greeters at the door.
Yeah, don't worry about the hookers at the door.
Because there was times we would show up and walk in there on a Saturday, and they're like peering and looking out the window like we were the customers, and we're like, no, we actually.
Then
have
I think
a
they got
studio
to realize, or they got to not know us because we never talked to them, nor did we get massages. But
I'm glad you actually said that because yes, no,
yeah,
we did not.
people are thinking like you guys definitely went and got them. Like, no, we didn't.
No.
But I think that after a while they got to kind of realize we were not customers and we actually had legitimate business going on there.
I do remember a few times walking out when we were done recording, and there would be, like you said, a normal looking person that probably has a family and kids that should not be there, standing there waiting in the lobby.
And they looked super uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then I would make it more uncomfortable, but like, how you doing, sir? How's your day going?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah, that was one part of the old studio that was I guess kind of funny. But then the other part was well into it. We were there for a while. Some dude moves in next door, or what we thought was like normal people, like moving into an office space next door. And they were being super loud in there one time, and we were about to record, and I'm like, screw it, I'll go knock on their door and ask them to be quiet because we're doing something. And when I knocked on the door, there was a bunch of dudes in there. The office space was like completely empty, but there was a table with like a couple computers on it.
Yeah.
And they were super respectful. They quieted down, whatever. And so whatever. So time went on, and I thought that was weird. I remember I told you. And then it was like, then we started hearing, then there was a dog in there, and the dog would start barking. Like while we were recording, we'd have to stop and then go. And then we would show up, and the dog's running around upstairs, and you're a PTSD with dogs, so you're a little scared.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like there was a van in the parking lot, and I remember looking in the window of this van because I didn't know that it belonged to the dude next door, and there was like a huge jug of like urine in there.
Disgusting.
Yeah, and he was living out of the van. So the dude was essentially living. It's like he rented the office space, but he was living out of it and had his dog there. He was a transient living in the office space next door. That's when we were like, we're out, dude. That was.
And now we've upgraded to.
Oh, totally, freaking Hawaii.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, so, that was kind of our experience at our old studio. Was not. It was a cool experience to have our own place, but
we still have
better
our own
than
place.
the bedroom.
It's just like it's a progression of.
Well, like any business, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because back then, I mean, we were paying like our own money to do all this, and it wasn't until we start making something where
we probably should thank all of our viewers and the listeners.
No, totally, from the very beginning. Yeah, and there's still people who comment who are like been watching you guys since day one.
Yeah,
who are still with. It's been what, 4 years?
Yeah, it's
been a while.
I think that's
crazy.
The most rewarding part is to see the comments and the people supporting and being around and like thanking us for this, and the countless emails and the
social DMs and stuff. And hey, look, sorry for we get a lot of DMs on social media and emails, and it's very challenging to get back to. You used to be really good at it, and then I think just as you grow, like naturally, people reach out, and
there's
it's
so
hard to
many
get back
responses,
to everybody.
so many responses.
So we apologize if we don't get back to you. We do read a lot of them, but we do work full time, and it's tough. Like this is a side thing for us. That was once something that was just kind of fun and kind of evolved into what it is. But it is cool, like going places. Like we go to the gym, you get people that come up to you either like at the gym or the grocery store or the airport or whatever, and it's always funny if they recognize us. I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's cool to know that I guess the information that we're giving out is like beneficial to somebody out there. So
yeah, definitely.
So that was total. That was not planned, by the way. We just went down memory lane a little bit. But
you're not.
Did you winterize? Did you winterize the Doughboy?
Oh, my pool?
Yeah. Oh, if you want to call it that, yeah.
It's a pool. It's ready to go.
Your body of water wrapped in plastic and metal. Yeah. Did you winterize it?
Yeah. I don't know what to winterize. I don't know what you would winterize. With
I don't know.
Pool.
I have an actual like in-ground pool, so I know what I need to do to winterize it. I didn't know if there was something special you had to do with a Doughboy.
Oh, it's just weird that you treat me different because you have an in-ground and I have an above ground. Like, I don't know. Is it different?
Well, initially you were saying that you were going to build this like super rad pool at your house and get all this like concrete work done, and then you settled for that. So it just,
Settle for that. There's like, when you have, because I have property and it's like 2.5 acres, almost all of it is landscape. There, you have to like progress to where the pool would be.
Does it freeze? Does it freeze? Because where you live, like you guys get snow and stuff. I mean, it's cold.
I don't know if it freezes. I've never. It has chlorine. I don't know if chlorine makes water harder to. I don't know. I think this will be the first.
Is this your first winter with it? I don't remember.
No, we had it last year because it turned green because we didn't know what to do, and now
you got to take care of it.
Well, yeah, that's
what chlorine is for. Yeah,
yeah. But now I'm curious. When it does freeze, I'm gonna see if it does ice over.
Yeah, interesting. I was just curious.
Well, let's talk about this motorcycle pursuit because that was absolutely wild. It was all over the media. Mm-hmm. We kind of purposely waited to see if we can get some more information on this before we put it out.
Yeah, so it started out as, unfortunately, this deputy gets killed at a domestic violence call, which we say it all the time. Look, domestic violence calls are inherently dangerous. They are, I think that they're always going to be the most dangerous call you'll ever go to because people's emotions are so high that people don't think clearly when you're involving people in domestic relationships. And so the shootings we've been in were domestic violence related. So inherently dangerous, especially when you're going to a call involving domestic violence where someone has a gun. Those need to be treated very, very serious.
That's what this one was. They were responding to a call at 12:37 p.m. on October 27th of 2025 with the reports of a man threatening a woman with a gun.
And unfortunately, it sounds like when deputies showed up, he immediately opens fire, shooting and killing one of the deputies, Deputy Nunez, before getting on a motorcycle and fleeing. Now, here's where things become interesting. So he flees on the motorcycle. California Highway Patrol motor officer picks it up, gets on the 210 freeway down in Los Angeles, and they confirm that it was him. And then now this high-speed chase starts on the 210 freeway in Southern California. And
you could see there was questions at the time as it was going on from the overhead or from the helicopter of the motorcycle officer chasing the suspect at times hitting 150 miles an hour, 151, 52. But the motorcycle cop actually gets up next to him at one point and is looking at him. And it's like people were trying to figure out what he was doing. And it was later came out that they weren't 100% positive that was in fact the suspect that killed Deputy Nunez. The motor cop got next to him to confirm his identity.
Which he did, correct? They confirmed that it was him.
They did confirm that it was him.
Because they knew while they were chasing him that, it eventually was. Now, 150 miles an hour. First of all, I've had a motorcycle.
Yeah, you did. A street
and
bike.
I'm not going to admit whether or not I have gone 150 miles an hour. That was a very long time ago. That is sketch. So in the video, and there was a helicopter, a news helicopter flying above this thing that captured the whole thing live. That motor officer is savage for going as fast as he was on a freaking motorcycle. And then at one point, it looks like he tries to actually take him out on the do a pit maneuver on a motorcycle. That is insane. First of all, I've always wondered what it would be like to be a motor officer and be in a pursuit because I've seen it at work and I've always thought it was sketchy. And I've always told myself if I was a motor guy, which I would never be. Don't even go back to that.
You interviewed to be a motor cop after I talked to you.
I was going through a weird part of my life, and I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore. Okay, so
you
luckily I didn't get it, but that's crazy to get in a pursuit on a motorcycle. That's scary, and then to try to hit the guy, damn, that's nuts.
I've been in 2 pursuits where motor cop. One was a bank robbery, and one was a vehicle that I literally, there's 3 of us in the vehicle, literally watched the dude raise a gun and rack it in the car, and we got in a pursuit. And it was actually the same motor cop was patrolling the area, got behind us, and then took over the number 1 spot. And it was
on a motorcycle?
Yes, it was rad. I was more like,
wait, were you in a marked car?
I was in a marked car in pursuit, and then he took the number 1 spot.
Oh my God. That has to be against policy.
I don't know. It was wild. But he was so fluid, so good on the radio. And I remember going from westbound 50 to northbound or eastbound 80 on this huge interchange. And dude, he was just laying over, just so calm, talking on the radio, describing what he was doing. It was wild. But I mean, the pursuit, the guy ended up getting off the freeway and intentionally running into a tree to kill himself.
Oh, really?
Car just exploded. Yeah, it was wild. But both times the motor cop was stellar in this pursuit. Stellar.
That's crazy.
And it reminded me of this one, of how good the motor cop was.
Well, so some motor cops that are like really good or have been riding motorcycles for a long time, like they love themselves, dude. Like they love that motor position and they take great pride in their riding technique. And
dude, it's survival. You have to.
Motor guys are for sure. They're a different breed, dude. Like,
yeah,
they just are.
Yeah, but this one, you
wait,
could
did
see
that guy
him.
who did the car explosion, like, did he die or did
He did. He did die. Yeah.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
you killed him.
No,
That's crazy.
He was a bank robber. Like, he legitimately. Have you ever? I mean, that's like everyone's dream, like to catch a bank robber.
I have, yeah. I got in a pursuit with a guy who had just robbed a bank and it had an ETS tag in it, and so we were able to track him and got in a pursuit with him, and all the cash was in there. So yeah, I mean, actually, I think that's happened maybe twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's rare.
Yeah.
Didn't mean you had to kill the guy, but
Well, this one was wild because it's going on for a period, and at one point you can actually see what at the time I don't think the helicopter really, because it's live, but looking back at the video, the suspect actually takes both his hands off the steering wheel or the panel bars, and then what looks like
steering wheel,
whatever it's called, pulls a gun out, and then like is actually racking it. So I don't know if he ended up putting another magazine in it. Like, it was kind of hard to see, but he was actually manipulating a gun while he's fleeing.
So the question became, all right, well, before we, let's backtrack. So he flees, motorcycle cop tries to take him out. The guy actually starts kind of gaining distance between the CHP and the motor cop because now he's just hammered down on that thing. An off-duty narcotics officer was in a Toyota Camry.
Yep.
And took the guy out on the motorcycle at a pretty high speed. And so the question became, was it justified for him to ram the motorcycle? Essentially, he's using deadly force because one would assume that if you hit somebody going that fast on a motorcycle with a car, you're high likelihood that person's not going to survive.
Yep.
Which in this case, somehow the guy does, of course. But
it was at 70. I think it was at 70 miles an hour, 72 miles.
dude,
an
that
hour.
is fast
That
to
is
crash
still
on a
really
motorcycle.
fast.
So
Yeah.
he survives. Okay. So the question. Okay. So here's my thought. Number one.
So here, let's get all the facts really quick. So the off-duty narcotics officer states, and it later comes out, the sheriff says that he puts himself back on duty.
I know, and I
to
want
do this intervention.
Okay, so like I want to explain that for the ordinary person. I'm willing to bet a lot of money that the Toyota Camry that he was driving was his assigned car. It
was.
Probably it was an unmarked car. Was it?
Yeah.
Like, did they say it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's his unmarked car. You know he has a radio in his unmarked car, so he can hear everything that's going on. What people don't know is, and I don't know this for a fact down there, but I'm willing to bet that we can't communicate with CHP. So CHP, the California Highway Patrol, is on their own radio band. Like you can't talk to them. You can't communicate with them on the radio. You can't listen to their radio. You have to physically have one of their radios in order to hear what they're got going on. So it's very frustrating when you're working with CHP because of comm reasons. Like, you can't communicate with each other. And so I've had that happen in pursuits where it's like, I don't know what they're saying. They don't know what I'm saying. It's just funky.
The only way it's communicated is dispatch is telling you what is
through
going
dispatch.
on, which is a delayed time.
Exactly. So that's that. So unmarked car, radio in the car, so he knows what's going on through his dispatch. I don't know of everything that he was hearing on the radio, but at one point, yes, the guy does take his hands off the steering or of the handlebars and pulls a gun out and he racks it on the motorcycle. We were debating whether or not was it justified using deadly force. I say yes, because he just shot and killed a deputy. He's a inherent danger to the public. He's still armed with a gun. He's fleeing from the police, and he just pulled out a gun and racked it, showing his intent to maybe further use that weapon against either the public or a police officer.
I think you could argue that there potentially could be the intent because that motor cop got right up next to him. And I bet that's when that suspect was like, I might actually have to shoot this guy to get away.
Totally. And I wholeheartedly believe he would have done that.
For sure.
Now, the narcotics officer. So in California, you have to use deadly force now under 835A. You have to have ability, opportunity, and intent. So I think all three of those boxes are checked. And I think the narcotics guy in the car, I don't know. Maybe he probably saw the guy racking the gun because he was driving next to him, and then maybe at that point he's like, all right, I'm gonna put an end to this, and then that's when he takes him out. So
it's very possible too, because we saw from the news media helicopter, it's possible they already had LAPD or LASD air overhead, and they were broadcasting what they said, because air unit, the observers do a phenomenal job in situations like that.
Okay, so talk about that, because
so
that's another thing. So because the helicopter is seeing something, the observer, those cameras zoom in ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Who's communicating that? There's a lot of communication going on that.
So what the general public saw in that video was just the news media helicopter, which is a helicopter that is higher in elevation than law enforcement. Law enforcement is generally lower. For them to even be there, they're higher, and they're generally further away, so they're not creating a safety issue or flight, whatever. So they're zoomed in and looking at it, but most likely there's law enforcement overhead lower, and their cameras, you're right, zoom in really good on that. And on a freeway, you can get close up to that, and those observers are paying attention, talking about everything they can to relay up-to-date information to the officers that are in pursuit. One probably being, hey, because it's very, very clear when someone takes their hands off the handlebars. The motorcycle slows down, and he's doing something, and I imagine that they had camera on to say, hey, it looks like he's doing something. His hand is off the handlebar.
For sure.
Okay, it looks like he has a gun. It looks like he's actually racking what looks to be a gun. And then everyone is hearing that information up to date. And it's possible that that off-duty narcotics officer was hearing that local agency's radio traffic.
Yep. Like I said, I'm willing to bet a lot of money that that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So you can't see that from the news clippings, but that's like the behind the scenes, what is going on that people aren't aware of. Like from being a cop, those are all the things that are occurring. And then based on all of that.
And then the question becomes, is that officer, the off-duty officer, justified? Can he put himself back on duty and paying attention, listening to the radio traffic, probably looking in the rearview mirror to see the motorcycle coming up, to do an intervention to stop that pursuit? And the sheriff, Shannon Dykes, actually says, and he quotes it, the day of, the pursuit came to a conclusion when an off-duty deputy sheriff who put himself on duty and conducted a legal intervention by hitting the suspect on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't really think it matters whether you're on duty or off duty. The only thing I can think of why you would want to put yourself on duty is in the event something happened to you. Let's say you got hurt, you can say it was like an on duty thing. I don't know. Like I don't really see the difference between if you're off duty going home and then that happens and you take the dude out, you're still covered. Like you're still a police officer.
Yeah, and I think they're making that specific because my assumption is that when this comes out in court, that is going to be
like he acted under
the color of authority. Like
he was
color
actually
of authority,
their policy and stuff.
Yeah, and I would also assume that didn't happen immediately. Like he probably could have been monitored in the area and could have said, hey, log me back on.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
on the freeway, eastbound 210. I'm like 3 miles ahead of it. Yeah. Like I'm undercover. They're marked units. It's a 150-mile-an-hour pursuit. You don't want to lose sight of it. I imagine he put himself back on duty, and by that, he's logging back onto dispatch so they're aware of where he's at and what he's doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think kudos to him for doing that. I mean, having the wherewithal and having making the mental decision that he's going to take this guy out. And I can only imagine he would have thought that he's more than likely was going to kill the guy. And, he didn't, but that's a hard decision to have to make, to hit somebody like that, whatever. So I don't know. Kudos to him for having the wherewithal to even do it.
Yeah, and in the timing to be able to watch a motorcycle. Granted, he did slow down to about 70, so you're able to see him coming up from behind, but to be able to make that lane change in that motorcycle, the timing was perfect in that because he had his hands off the handlebar and he was turned away, so he couldn't even react.
Yeah,
I think it was perfect.
Yeah, he totally set it up to where he made it seem like he was just a normal driver, and then like last second he's like boop and yeeted him, dude. So yeah, I don't know how that dude survived, but yeah, so whatever. He's now got booked in jail under a slew of charges, and he's pled not guilty, of course. But
the worst part is it's a San Bernardino County Sheriff's Deputy, Andrew Nunez, later died at the hospital. He was a 6-year veteran, 28 years old, had a child, had a wife, and another child is expected. He also has 4 siblings. It is terrible that this officer or this deputy dedicated his life to law enforcement, arrives on scene, and is immediately shot and then later dies.
Yeah, there's a few cops that were shot and killed this last week.
Yeah.
It's been a bad week for law enforcement for sure.
And sometimes you can use all the tactics, everything you've learned, the safest approach, and then you just don't see it.
Yeah, I've always said, I mean, we teach our class, and like I always say in the class, a lot of times, and I feel like an asshole when I say it, but a lot of times cops do things to themselves to get themselves killed by using bad tactics or just bad decision making altogether. And that sucks. And in the class that we do, we try to prevent, cops from doing that. But other times, I mean, if you're going to get ambushed on something, unfortunately, like there is nothing you can do. We've been asked before too, well, how do you train against an ambush? And like, I don't even have an answer. Like you could be minding your own business doing something, and then someone may roll up to you and just from behind and use a weapon against you. And what are you going to do? Like you can't train against that. Like your best bet, odds of survival would be either let's hope it doesn't kill you, or they miss, and then you can react to that. But yeah, you hear it happens all the time. Cops driving down the street, pulling up to a red light or whatever. Like we've seen it here in California several times, and they get gunned down. So, yeah, I don't know the specifics about how they responded to this DV call. I have no idea. They haven't said, and they haven't released the body cam yet. But so I'm not going to even speculate. But it just goes to show you, if you are a cop out there, I know it sucks, but you go to these things 99, times that you're good to go. And then like the 100th time is you're not. And so that's the hard part about this job is you don't know when that time is going to come. You don't know when your card's going to get pulled. It just is what it is, but you always got to be on your A game. And I'm not a big proponent of being super hyper vigilant all the times, which is so funny. Cause like been involved in a lot of things, several shootings, and I'm still not like that. I try not to live my life like that either. But I think what it boils down to is it's a mental game. Like, are you mentally prepared to be able to flip that switch when you have to? And unfortunately, a lot of cops are not. And so that's what gets them in trouble. So like I was just looking on social media. It's so, I've been working very hard on like not getting worked up over things because it's been brought to my attention. But I scroll through social media and some of these larger training, like police training, whatever, Instagram pages, put out a lot of information. And you know as well as I do, almost 100% of the time, it's all about shooting and, getting your platform and the trigger squeeze and this and that. And it's like, dude, I would love to ask whoever runs these training pages, who's putting all this information out there, have you ever been involved in a shooting in real life, like an officer involved shooting or anything of that nature? Because every time I've ever asked somebody that who puts this shit out is like, they never have. And so, and I'm not saying practicing shooting and all that, it's super important, but I'm a very firm believer that it's not everything. And in fact, I would say that it's very much second to being more mentally prepared easily. Because what do we say in the class that we do? If you're not even like mentally capable of pulling your gun and actually shooting it or shooting somebody and being able to make that conscious decision, the gun is useless.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset. We do talk about that a lot. Like, are you mentally there, prepared? Have you thought about it? Have you ran scenarios through your mind? It's being mentally prepared to do something. And what is that thing that you're going to do? It's thinking about it. Yeah, I'm on the same page with the range masters that you go to their range or department shootings and they're so rigid and they're yelling and like, get in the stance and move, fire 3 rounds. And it's like, you're so focused on that, which there is an element that's important, but also range days for law enforcement is an opportunity for training. Like you should not go there being stressed out to be there. That's a learning environment to gain skills, to learn some different movements, and to become comfortable, not to go there. And I remember being at the range many times, very uncomfortable, because the range master makes it uncomfortable, and they think that stress helps, and it does not. It actually blocks the ability to learn.
Prevents you from learning, yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's like FTO. I mean, you stress a trainee out enough, they're not learning anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the cultural change of law enforcement. But then it's like guys who go out and buy these red dots that are super expensive, and these companies are making so much money off of it because they've glorified them from, I think, the military world and these special forces guys who gloat about them, right? And so now these companies are like, oh, well, now we're getting into the law enforcement world, and they're like, oh, you have to have a red dot, right? If you don't have a red dot, you suck. I don't have a red dot, and I also believe that you can have the most expensive red dot on your pistol you want, but when it comes down to brass tacks and you're in a fucking gunfight, like, and you don't have the mental capacity to even fucking shoot somebody or like get into a gunfight, then the optic on your gun is absolutely useless.
Well, we've seen,
and you're not gonna use it anyways when stimulus is coming at you. So yes, time and place for a red dot. I've always said that, but it's not everything. And so when guys are going out and buying all this crazy expensive shit on their guns or their vests or what, I'm like, dude, it's just too much. Like,
well, we've watched a ton of videos of cops getting in shootings with the red dot on their pistol, and they're missing, and they're firing rounds all over the place.
Oh, totally.
So
I think they say there is a statistic out there. It's like, I don't even know what it is, but it's like it's a fairly high number of rounds that a cop misses in a shooting. And it totally makes sense to me because you're pointing and shooting.
Yeah.
And if you're in a gunfight, you're also trying not to get your ass shot. So
yeah, I do think there's a time and a place if it's stagnant, a felony vehicle stop where you're
totally,
you have the ability to pause, you're taking a sighted shot, you're giving commands. That's totally different than a reactive to being shot at and involved in a shooting. Time and a place, but yeah.
I also think that even if you're on a felony stop and you had your red dot on, like let's say the driver, whatever, in the car, if someone popped out of the car suddenly and like started shooting, you're losing sight of the red dot all day long. I firmly believe that. I would say I would only believe that is if you train that thousands and thousands of times, and then your body's just so conditioned to that. But for an average person or an average cop who fucking probably never trains on it, you're not doing that. I don't believe it. But
well, I think that comes to the communication aspect, and we do talk about this in our class. But if my focus, and this does not happen on a lot of felony stops, and I think cops should be thinking about this, is who are you looking at? What threat are you covering? Because you may have 6 or 8 cops, and what is everybody looking at? What is your threat that you're paying attention to? You could, and probably should discuss if 2 people are on the driver. Then if a passenger pops out, you're still obviously going to divert your attention to look because it's right in your field of view, but you shouldn't be reacting to that, somebody else, because that's your responsibility.
You know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should incorporate that into our class, the felony. We don't talk about that. Because I do think that I don't ever think there's a perfect way to do anything. And felony traffic stops are so fluid because you don't know where the car is going to park. Like there's traffic, there's cars. So they're tough, but they're not black and white. But there is a good, I think, a safer way to be able to do them. And we teach it at my department, and I like how we do it. So I don't know. We should incorporate that.
So there's a lot of good talking points that we got from that pursuit.
There is. And if you are interested out there, Mark and I do host a couple of classes, and Mark will share with you what those are. But we break all of this stuff down in our class: mental preparedness, shooting, patrol tactics, all of it. And so it's a great class. We're actually going to be in Chicago. We're going to be in Joliet this next week. Yeah, week after next. Mm-hmm. The week of November 17th, we're actually going to be out in Chicago teaching that class to their entire department. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a great time. And Mark, tell everybody if they want to host us at their class, how do they do it?
So we're offering 2 classes: patrol tactics and critical response, and then emotional edge, surviving public encounters. All you have to do is email training@shotsfiredpodcast.org. We will respond to you, and we can help coordinate how to and give you all the information on how to host a class, or if your department wants to host us to train your department. Training@shotsfiredpodcast.org.
Let's do it.
All right.
You want to get out of here and we'll go winterize your pool?
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Stay safe
See
and
you
be smart.
guys.